Welcome, everyone. Please remember to turn off your cell phones. This is a reminder there is no photography or recording permitted. Now, please enjoy the show. Go Sox.
Oh, man. Wow. What's,
Did they do the announcement?
yeah.
Did the guy
They did the
The
announcement?
guy did the announcement, yeah.
Oh.
The guy already did the announcement. He told them to turn off their phones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Do you think everybody turned their phones
Wait
off?
a second. Why are they applauding? Can they hear us?
I guess, well, we're also doing a brand new episode
Of?
SmartLess. Welcome to SmartLess.
Let's do it. Okay, good rehearsal. Let's go back.
We could have done that before the show, I guess.
We have a fourth member that we're announcing tonight. He's shy. He's got a loose bowel, so he's gonna go.
He's shy. He's very shy.
we're so excited to be in Boston.
Boston. What? And there are people up there, too?
I think so.
Wow.
This is really, really, really weird.
You guys are so nice to come out and see us tonight. Thank you.
I know, and the weather is so crappy out there. Thank you for braving the elements.
Yeah.
You know, we're really excited to be here.
Yeah.
Should we turn on the house lights? I want to see like
Yeah, just
all
for a second.
these
Just for a
people.
second.
Or do we not want to see all these people?
see
We
them.
might get
Oh,
Just a
there
little
they
bit.
are.
We just want to see everybody.
Wow.
Hi, everybody.
That's so nice.
Thank you for
It's
coming.
so nice to see
Wow.
you.
Nuts.
All right, let's sit. Let's sit.
Yeah, let's sit.
All right,
Let's sit.
Let's sit down. Let's sit down.
Wow.
This is really no. We're gonna.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna switch.
We did a show.
We did
the
a
other
show in
day,
DC.
and
We're
now
so well rehearsed.
Well, Jay, you just turned your chair. You got to leave it out a little
I
bit.
gotta leave it out a little bit.
Yeah.
All right.
And
Sitting on a mic pack. All right, so this is where we're past the cold open. Now we do. Oh, this is just us bullshitting before the guests.
about our day.
I'm new. I'm brand new.
About our day. Well, today, well, first of all, Will always makes fun of my emails. I just heard you mention it downstairs before he came up. He thinks I email too much. I think I don't, because I'm always on emails. He's like, hey, cool it with the emails because
Wait,
It's not about that you email too much. It's that you feel a need to respond immediately, and you don't think through your answer.
Well,
It's true, and then you
sometimes-
get in a lot of trouble.
I do. By the way, good note. I do get in a little bit of trouble, but I like to respond quickly because I like when people respond quickly to me.
Okay.
Here's what I don't like. How difficult is it to proofread your text, your email, check your punctuation? Like if you send me something that's not well spelt or well punctuated, I don't feel like you really mean it. You didn't really check through it.
You feel
Yes,
disrespected.
That's how I want to communicate my thought, and now I hit send. If somebody doesn't do that, then I kind of half read it.
So you're saying that's what I do?
I don't think I've ever gotten an email from you before. No.
What are you talking about?
It's mostly text, but you're right. Sean's our adult. When we have to do,
Which is sad.
when we have to do a three-headed email back to the people who are nice enough to fund something like this, he's the one that puts it together, and it's always makes a lot of
Who,
sense.
who answers
Very
first?
good.
Who do you think of everybody who answers first to every email that we get business-wise?
Sean.
Sean.
Yeah.
Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a tight second.
But you hate that.
I do hate that. I like taking a second.
All right. Yeah,
By the
I
way,
knew that.
it's
that's a
so
power
much
move.
more than a second. You don't even respond at all because Will is conflict averse, and so he doesn't want to be a part of anything that can be slightly problematic.
True.
Well, first of all, I'm not conflict averse. I like conflict in the immediate, right? So I like interpersonal conflict, like when we're having a conversation. That I enjoy. I don't like real conflict that has to do with like greater big world implications.
No, sure.
You know what I mean?
He's the king of, the people that go, hey, sorry, just seeing this. You know? Just getting to this.
That's so
What's up?
true.
Thanks, everybody. I'm on board with all.
Yeah. That's so true. And but I said this to you, Will, earlier today, that sometimes I'll be falling asleep at night and I'll start laughing so hard because of something Jason or Will said the previous, like that day, right?
I did that today brushing my teeth. I spit all over the mirror. You idiot.
But last night, Will made us all cry so hard because we were eating sushi and he...
And I kept
It's
saying,
so dumb.
It's so dumb.
It's the greatest dad joke ever.
And I kept saying I didn't have time to make dinner tonight, so I ordered Japanese sashimi.
Not a great delivery.
It's
not a great delivery.
What's tough? I'm delivering for
pretty good.
Here's what we're gonna do. Sashimi.
By the way, and know that we're laughing not only because of the pun's just kind of dumb, but
so
it's so
stupid.
dumb. It's so stupid.
It's so dumb.
You know what? You're gonna find a better delivery somewhere in this interview with your guest. You just work it back in, and they'll see.
I imagine that our guest is going to try to work it in because our guests can sometimes they like.
Did I just provide a segue?
Yeah, you did.
Are you guys ready for the guest?
Our guest really likes to work in sweaty bits. Let me just say that.
Oh.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Like in sweaty bits of clothes?
No.
Is
I
this
don't
a
mean
workout
like
specialist?
I don't mean like their meats and cheeses are sweaty. I mean that they like to do bits and that sometimes the bits get pretty sweaty. This is somebody that we know quite well. This is somebody, and when I say we, I mean that we all know quite well.
Is this person specific to Boston?
This person is specific to Boston in that this person is from Boston.
Is it like a sports person? Is it a
Male or female?
This person is not a sports person.
Are you unsure on the gender?
Well, I'll let you decide.
By the way, the world just my questions just opened a little more now that it's not a sports person. Not that I don't love sports, I just don't know a lot of them.
But hang on a second, but we'll get back to this. I know your whole thing, you don't like sports, but recently, you've started to enjoy football.
Oh my God, I love football.
There we go.
Yeah. I watch
That's a great
it.
soundbite.
But yeah, I watch it and I'm like blown away by the science of the guy throwing the ball and timing it and the guy catching it. It's like, who can do that?
It's not called science.
What do you mean, who can do that? Lots of people can do that.
I know, but not like who was the guy who was watching the game? Oh, the Rams, the guy from the Rams. He's amazing.
Matt Stafford.
Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
Do you know, hang on, check this out. Do you know the really famous quarterback that played for the Patriots?
Okay, well now you're making me look.
No.
Do you?
Watch this. No clue.
Wait a minute. Who is it again?
No, I'm asking
You
you,
guess.
Dingbat.
No, I know what.
But he used to play for the Patriots for the bulk of his career.
And then he just finished up his career in Tampa Bay. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Give me the first. Give me the first.
First name Tom.
Brady.
Whew.
Oh, what?
Is that our guest? Is that
Our guest is not Tom Brady.
Well, it can't be. He retired.
Our guest is like the opposite of Tom Brady.
Wait, who would the opposite of Tom Brady
Our guest
be?
is from Boston, is so angry that they can't be Tom Brady. This person is a clown.
A clown?
This person has lived in many cities after Boston. This person lived in Chicago. This person was roommate with Bob Odenkirk and worked with Bob Odenkirk very closely.
Is this Cross?
This person worked in California, wrote on The Simpsons,
Conan?
wrote on Saturday Night Live, Mr. Conan O'Brien!
It's just such a great
Please.
Please.
I gotta tell you, you know, we did a show last night, and it was Will's guest then too. He brought on Will Ferrell, and I thought he couldn't top that.
Yeah. And he didn't.
Right.
You know,
You notice that we're all
what kind of show business are you running where you tell a Boston crowd it may be Tom Brady? And I'm backstage, and my dick goes up inside my body.
even further?
Further! Further than it already was! I'm backstage like, what? And the crowd's like, yes! The greatest Boston sports hero of all time. You guys like, no. Not him. Kind of the opposite.
I didn't say kind of.
You know what?
I did not say kind of. I said
What kind
the
of
opposite.
shitty show business is this?
But you,
Unbelievable.
You excel in the sport of comedy.
Yes.
Oh,
Great.
Sean.
Yeah. I love it. I don't know who it was, but I was listening backstage as best I could, and you said, Tom Brady, is it a sports person? You went, no, not a, kind of the opposite of a sports person. And I swear to God, one person way in the back was like, Conan. when did I become the dictionary definition of all that is not excellence in sport? What's the opposite of the most admired? Conan!
I would like to know.
Wow.
I would like to know, as we spoke during the last 2 years during the pandemic, you chose to do something a little different with your hair, and now you're going back to the original.
It's a great place to
don't
start. That's
tell
a great
us.
place to start.
Really good place.
You usually want to soften up the guests
it's good.
before you start ripping them down.
No, I don't know what it looks like because
I can tell
it
you.
is raining ice outside.
Yeah.
And this podcast doesn't spend a lot of dough.
Wow.
We got you an umbrella, didn't we?
By the way,
No, you sent me half an umbrella.
it should be noted. So before the show, Jason and Sean didn't know that Conan came all the way from California to see
Yes,
you guys.
thank you.
And all right, you
Thanks,
didn't
guys.
walk.
He rode his razor.
exactly.
So I go into his dressing room, and somebody on our team has laid out a ton of SmartLess swag, like hats and stuff. And he's got his own podcast, and he is seething.
Oh, I see this stuff and I take a picture of it and I send it to my podcast people.
Yeah, I know.
We have a shower cap. There's a Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend shower cap, and if you use it in the shower and it gets wet, you see that it used to be for Alf, the TV show Alf.
Oh no.
Old reference. But anyway, I'll just lift this and put it over here.
Yeah, you give me shit for old references.
Hey, come on.
What was the hair strategy before you came back to
I
this
wanted
one?
to look like a puppet, a puppet that had been carved out of wood.
What did that look like?
Well, no, when I was a kid, true story, and I cracked this. I cracked this, by the way.
That
'cause
fucking hair, though, right now is just kicking.
it is an audio medium, and you've got to use everything you can to boost.
You gotta be a
So
clutter
anyway,
buster.
what happened was I got it wet, and then I was like, I'll be fine, and I just ran a hairdryer through it, and it looks like I've been electrocuted. My apologies, but this will be good.
No, this is really
No,
good.
it looks
It's
great.
good for your brand.
Thank you.
Yeah. Listen, the first thing I want to get to, and this is a bit of a touchy subject, not for you, but for Jason.
So we're not going to talk about his incredible guest appearance on Will's new show, Murderville.
Well,
Let's get that out of the way,
that out.
because it's
you
incredible.
Conan was unbelievable.
Incredible.
All improvisation. Jason, your resting stance is to have your hand on your dick. It's incredible. No, I swear to God, he's looking at me. If I was on the subway and you were sitting opposite me and doing that, I would call the police.
And I
Is anyone
wouldn't-
else noticing this? He's like this. Hey, what's going on with your hair? What's with your hair, buddy? Why did you put up with that?
I said
He doesn't mind.
I don't mind that.
Here we go. I'm gonna point it at Sean.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for Murderville. Conan came on, had no idea what we were doing. I didn't see you until we started rolling. and you were thrown into this bizarre situation.
No, they never tell you what's going on.
Well,
it's really
for
fun.
Tracy, tell them what Murderville is. And by the way, Murderville has gotten amazing reviews everywhere.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
I think my favorite headline so far is O'Brien saves Arnett with Murderville.
I didn't.
Is that one of them?
Yeah.
I wrote that.
In the O'Brien Gazette. Yeah. Who said the Arnett Gazette today?
It's a really fun show to do, and what happens is you know nothing, and they just tell you basically all you know is you're the trainee, and you're going to be paired up with the detective Will.
It's an improv show.
It's an improv show, but we never talked about how scary that is, because quite literally you're sequestered and then you're just brought to the edge of a set and they go, and action.
Right.
So the guest star is the only person that has to improvise, that has no script.
Yeah.
Right.
The person who's most fearful gets no script.
Yeah.
Right? Which is nice of you,
I
Will.
actually find that liberating because
You didn't have to learn lines.
You don't learn lines, and people come in the room and say things like, O'Brien, and you're just like, yes, chief, and
let me ask you something.
It's fun. It's really
Also,
fun.
you
When
kept
is the last-
saluting everybody.
I kept saluting everybody.
But when is the last time you had to learn lines? Because isn't all your stuff on prompter? Don't hit me.
Not all on prompter. Yes, I've never conquered the movie realm, as all of you have, but one day I will. These cheekbones will not go to waste.
No, but I mean, is that something, like, have you always wanted to do, like, a regular scripted show?
No, I never have. I've never wanted anything. I like to say things the minute I think of them, and I'm very happy in this, that this silly world works, because I used to work, my job was to try and think of what's the cleverest thing, and I loved it / also found it to be incredibly difficult.
Well, when you started to go and you started to perform, obviously you maybe didn't have to learn lines, but you did so many great classic sketches on all your shows. They were unbelievable, and you had the incredible sketch comedians working with you. You did great stuff. But when you were writing sketches and things for other people, was that frustrating?
No, I have to say, because I was writing, I mean, this is I'm sure a very young crowd, but so
Our demo is very young.
Yeah, we're super hip.
I know that's not true, but it's good for advertising. And by the way, thank you for your service in the Korean conflict. I saw them loading in the crowd, and they're like, I can do it myself!
It better not be Conan O'Brien tonight.
Oh, if it's Conan, I'll get you mad! But
again, incredible character work. It's
my characters, well, whatever, we won't get into it. There's Streep and Conan and what else is there?
But writing sketches for other people.
I was writing for, Dana Carvey and Mike Myers and, Adam Sandler and all these people, and I never looked at what they were doing and thought, that should be me. I knew that they could do these things that I couldn't really do. That wasn't what I was interested in. I knew that I had to be Conan myself to be funny. So I never envied them. I envied them the attention and all that.
But those moments when you write something and you think like, oh, the joke would have been 15% better if they hit this. Like, did that ever?
Those guys are so good.
Yeah,
no,
those
I
guys
didn't,
are all stars.
And that's the thing is I was working with people that were so great.
Right.
I think if I had been working on some show that I didn't really respect, I might be thinking, why not me? Why not me? But I was never in that situation.
When you say you're really excited to do something where you can say what you're thinking of right when you're thinking of it, like you can on your show.
Or this medium, yeah.
What we're trying to be disciplined about on this and on the podcast is not to get canceled by just saying the first thing that, because that happens.
Yeah.
How did you, I would imagine.
Yeah, how did you avoid it? Because honestly, you're so ripe. You're so ripe to be canceled.
I have a lot of controversial views that my friends know about, and I'd like to air them out right here.
Good idea.
But when you're dealing with...
I believe science has yet to prove...
Wait, Conan, no. Don't do it.
Has anyone seen the virus? I haven't.
I'm going to say the same thing.
Asking to believe in something you can't see sounds like a religion to me. I'm just saying.
what I was going to bring up was the touchy thing was that your Christmas party and that you didn't invite Bateman.
Oh yeah, let's get
We're
into
not
this.
close. We're not close.
So
Wait a second.
So this is true. So
not close.
after I came to your so Jimmy and I were there at your party, and then we went over to our other friends after, and Jason was there, and Bateman's like, "Why are you guys so late?" And I said, "Oh well, we were at Conan's." "Oh, you were at Conan's Christmas party? What? My phone number doesn't work?"
Yeah, everybody at this other party was either fresh from your party or set to leave for your party.
Can I explain?
Everybody.
I can explain to you in one
There
quick
were
gesture.
400 people.
Yeah. There is one.
This is all so real.
There is a very simple reason why you have not been invited to my Christmas party, and why you will never be invited to my Christmas party. And that's that you came to my house one time.
No.
And you sat down. Yes, you did. And you planted yourself in the corner. Hand on cock. And I have kids. I have little kids. And they got really uncomfortable. And I said, "She's a nice guy." And he was like, "Yeah, get on back here."
That's fair.
No, I had like the legendary Bob Newhart comes to my party every year. One of the great comic icons of all time. And you people know because you're all in your late 70s. And I can't have you sitting across from him, rubbing
I
up against
played his son in a television series, you dick.
Yeah, I know. And guess what? You were doing it then. And he didn't like it then either.
I was,
another good
I was
note.
invited to that party.
Yeah,
you were.
That's it. That's all I have to say.
But you didn't come.
You didn't come.
I couldn't come.
Couldn't come or wouldn't come?
The last one. No, I couldn't make it, but
Who can't make it to a Conan O'Brien party? If I said to this crowd right now, we're all going back to Conan's place. Look at that. But this guy over here.
I had previous engagements.
I see.
Why
No,
are you being
your
so
previous
cagey? What do
engagement
you-
is
what do you
always.
mean?
This is Sean with his dog. What's that dog's name
Oh,
again?
yeah. Let's get into it.
Ricky.
Ricky.
And he
So
brings
Ricky-
the dog
No,
wherever he goes.
I have a lot of anxiety. It's like a child because he's still a puppy. So I don't want to leave it alone for more than 2 hours, or else I freak out. But next year I will go.
Also, we have a tradition at our Christmas party which is called Catch the Puppy.
Yeah.
We toss it around, and
brutal.
Sean knows about it and was like, "I'm not." And I'm like, "They're gonna do it," and it was.
And we will be right back. Thank you to True Classic for supporting the show. Now, this is my favorite time of the year, right? We got summer here, so it's beach parties, barbecues, hanging out at the beach, you name it. And while I love the warmer weather, boy, it can be hard to dress for the heat, right, guys? Listen, don't we all have those little clothes fits in the summer? Men, you know what I'm talking about, right? Especially for us guys, right? We want to be comfortable in a t-shirt that fits great, right? Because listen, there's only a couple of Brad Pitts in the world. The rest of us, it's not great under the t-shirt. So you want the t-shirt to help make things great. And this is why I love True Classic, because they make it easy to look and feel great all summer long with their perfect fitting shirts, shorts, and pants, all at prices that your wallet will also love. All right? So let's talk about these True Classic tees for 1 second. I've been blown away by how perfectly this thing fits me. I mean, the draping on it, right? The cut of it, the hang on it and everything. It's like my new secret weapon. It makes me look super fit, because I'm not, with the way that it hugs my arms and my chest. Now, these arms, my forearms are bigger than my biceps. I need to lift weight, and I don't have the discipline to do that. The way that the t-shirt falls on me, I need the help. True Classic helps me, right? It's just the right amount of room through the body on this shirt. Even better, they got this new summer-ready color. Lots of them, all these different summer colors. They come in packs, so you can have a shirt for every day of the week. You don't even have to do any laundry, you the lazy bum. So if you're ready to upgrade your look and your wardrobe, shop now at trueclassic.com and save 25% off with the code SmartLess. Look your best, feel your best, be your best with True Classic.
Life is short, and it's full of a lot of interesting questions. What does happiness really mean? How do I get the most out of my time here on Earth? And what really is the best cereal? These are the questions I seek to resolve on my weekly podcast, Life is Short with Justin Long. If you're looking for the answer to deep philosophical questions like what is the meaning of life, I can't really help you. But I do believe that we really enrich our experience here by learning from others. And that's why in each episode, I like to talk with actors, musicians, artists, scientists, and many more types of people about how they get the most out of life. We explore how they felt during the highs and sometimes more importantly, the lows of their careers. We discuss how they've been able to stay happy during some of the harder times. But if I'm being honest, it's mostly just fun chats between friends about the important stuff. Like if you had a sandwich named after you, what would be on it? Follow Life is Short wherever you get your podcasts. You can also listen ad-free on the Amazon Music or Wondery app.
Hello, Eric.
My darling Sean, when we were talking about doing our own podcast where we rewatch all of Will and Grace from the pilot to the reboot finale.
Yeah, I said, what do you mean by rewatch?
Turns out Sean had basically never watched the show we were in.
And it turns out Eric has maybe watched it a little too much.
Yes, and that's the energy we are bringing to our new podcast from SmartLess Media and Wondery. It's called
Just Jack
and Will.
It's a weekly recap series where we break down every single episode, revisit our favorite jokes, bring on our favorite guest stars, get into behind-the-scenes details.
We'll be speaking to our director, our writers, the people who designed the sets, the people who picked out our fantastic clothes.
And we'll be answering your questions every episode, emails, voicemails, send a carrier pigeon, whatever.
Do not send a carrier pigeon.
Follow Just Jack and Will wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen early and ad-free on the Amazon Music or Wondery app.
And now, back to the show.
Wait, I want to ask you something because you've been so successful at being a host and a talk show host for all of those years. You were always at the top of your game. One of the funniest, if not the funniest host of all time, and I think, and
No.
yeah. Yeah.
Even the best audio editor in the world can't fix that gap between what Sean said.
Let's try one more
an
time.
entire Wang Center filled with Bostonians going, yeah.
I'll try it again. One of the funniest,
nine
if
best.
not one of the funniest, if not the funniest hosts of all time.
No, please. Please keep in the original. It's funny.
But then take me through it. But then take me through it because you did a Late Night with Conan.
Yeah.
And that was the first one, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Then you did The Tonight Show.
Yeah.
I'm picturing it? Look, you're picturing it.
No, because I don't want to miss one. And then you did your own show on TBS, right?
Yeah, called Conan.
That's right. And then,
And how did you guys come up with that?
But then now you have this incredibly successful podcast. What is it about hosting and interviewing people? Have you ever gotten tired of just like the forum
Of interviewing.
Yeah.
I find this to be really fun. Like this is just, and I will say the first thing I think to myself when I leave a stage like this, I'll think this tonight. The first thing I leave, I'll think I was not paid. I got a SmartLess beer cozy because we all know how much I love me a beer cozy.
Yeah.
And then, but the thing I will think about when I leave is, this is not a job. This is, I mean, and I said this to you when I was on your podcast. You know, you find 3 people, any one of whom I'd be delighted to hang out with and screw around with. This
But
is how
only
we
invite 2 to a party.
Well.
but-
hand off cock and maybe the invitations start to flow.
But was there ever a point where it did feel laborious and you're like,
Yes.
Yeah.
A little bit right there.
Well, you're
No.
as a host, I mean.
No. I will. It's called a volume business. So you guys are all out doing.
That doesn't mean you have to yell, but yeah.
Okay, it's called a volume business. And so I did like 4 or 5 shows a week for 28 years. And what happens sometimes is that you're your yeah.
You're waiting for the applause
Wait a
again?
second.
No.
Okay.
People.
No.
People are
28 years.
28 years. Yeah.
Of
We did
5
4,600 shows, and you know what? I'm told 7 are quite good. But
That's so impressive.
Yeah,
the
it is
thing
incredible.
is,
It's incredible.
of course, there's a part where it's a night where, one of my favorite stories ever is the hilarious, one of the funniest people that you will all attest is one of the funniest people ever is Mr. Martin Short.
Yeah.
And Martin Short is just
The best.
A treasure.
He is one of maybe all of us, I think, when he's around, we okay, it's
Yes.
Martin Short.
Yeah.
So there was a night many years ago where and I've been doing this for years and years and I'm slogging through. And unlike tonight, let's say because you're doing so many shows and you're doing 3 guests a night, sometimes there's a guest on who maybe you don't want to talk to, but you have to, and it's 1:20 in the morning, and they're here, and you might as well deal with it.
That's
Definitely pointed at you.
Why?
Definitely was a point at you. Not
No. But what happened
There
was...
it is, see?
So Martin Short was the first guest, just destroys, hilarious. Then he moves down the couch, and he's right where you are, and I'm sitting here, and the next guest comes, and I'm not being mean or anything. I honestly don't remember who it was. It was an actress who had been modeling, but now she was transitioning into acting.
Well,
Wow, what a story.
And her publicist had said, make sure you get that in, that she's transitioning now into acting, because we're moving to the next phase.
I love that you don't want to say who it is, but yet we can Google Conan O'Brien,
easily.
Marty Short.
Yeah. There's probably 3 choices.
Yeah, but this means I have it both ways. I'm a nice guy.
Right.
But fuck whoever that is. No, anyway, So anyway, I'm sitting in the chair. This person comes out. They sit next to me, and Martin Short's right where you are. And I'm getting through the interview, and then I see that question, and it's just an awkward, lame question. But I got to do my job. And I'm like, that's a moment where I thought, I really wish I wasn't here. So I went. So anyway, this is that's great. That's a funny story. I'm curious. You were a model, and you modeled for a long time, and now you're transitioning to acting. Which one do you prefer? Do you prefer the modeling or the acting? And she paused before she answered, and Marty's right where Will is, and leans forward so that only I can see him, not the audience, and goes, big shit. I'll do this because it's radio or audio or podcast. I said, give a big, I can't wait to hear. I'm hanging on every word. So I start to...
Sounds like one of my questions.
I start to laugh, but I'm biting on the side of my mouth, going, and she's saying, well, it's tricky. I love modeling, but also acting, but then there's acting, but then there's modeling. And he's going, ooh. The whole time. And I'm losing it, and I'm biting so hard that I'm bleeding in my mouth. And then I go well, anyway, it was really nice talking to you. It was really good talking to you. Thank you very much. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Band plays, and I get up, and I walk around the couch, and Marty's sitting there, acting like he had done nothing. And I leaned in and said into his ear while the band's playing, I'm just trying to make a living, you fucking asshole.
Yeah.
And he and I talk about that all the time. He took a moment that was like, oh shit, this is a job, to, that's one of my favorite things that's ever happened.
But with somebody like Martin Short, you don't have to stick to the pre-sort of because for Tracy, when some
Let's hear it for Tracy. We are just as a quick sideline, we are going to see Tracy soon, aren't we?
Yeah, we're going to see Tracy
We're
next
really
week.
excited.
We're going to mess it. And for those who don't know, Tracy is Sean's sister, who doesn't know a lot about the business, and so we always have to do an aside.
We're doing for people who don't know who Tracy is.
This
got so fucking meta, man.
So,
wow. So anyway.
You usually you don't predetermine how the interview is going to go, but you talk with somebody who works for the talk show host, and you kind of say, well, what subjects are you comfortable talking about? And you kind of work out where an interview could go, what the questions might be, what the answers might be. That's sort of like a fail-safe if somebody doesn't know how to have a conversation. What do you say the ratio is between guests that stick to the questions because of their comfort level or lack of conversation skills, and those you can just kind of freestyle like Marty.
People that freestyle are rare.
Super rare.
And you know what's interesting? Absolutely true. I've noticed this over all these years of doing this, which is that there's something about the United Kingdom. There's something about guests that have come from that environment. They are raconteurs. They tell a story.
Yes.
And I swear to God, years and years and years of talking to just terrific, great, storied British actors, and they don't almost need a pre-interview. You can just talk to them, and they're funny and lovely, and they're finishing your sentence. And
Says.
What's that?
You got to say it in a British accent.
What'd you say?
I said, it says,
No, but when I was younger, just starting in the business, all the talk shows, they instilled the fear of God in you about sticking to the question.
But that's a mistake. I would always say, I would sometimes go on other talk shows, and they would sort of start in the early days to promote my talk show, and they would drill me on the story, like, say it again, and I think that's not how human beings interact, and people at home can tell this is kind of phony.
If you had a time machine, is that the thing you would go and change?
We never did that. We didn't do that. There's other things I would change.
Sean Hayes,
I would change a lot of things.
Would you go and seek out a young Sean Hayes and say, this is a mistake?
Well, there's so many people I would go to and say, this is a mistake.
Conan, I want to get back to the time machine.
Yes.
Where would you take it? What would you do?
Okay. Fascinating question.
Yeah, it's right off the top of the list.
By the way, you're not using it right now, or you didn't come from the future.
I did.
What the fuck?
This podcast has a year to go.
No.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's hugely successful, and then it just
dies?
drops off.
Who dies, Conan? Who dies?
No one dies.
Wait,
That's
Conan.
Oh, Jesus.
Let's just say one of you gets canceled because you decide to take public transportation and you start a little crotch fire.
I need a
No. I am coming from the future to tell you, enjoy this while it lasts.
Oh, God.
You spent way too much money on very dangerous merchandise.
What would you do with the time machine?
Oh, my God. I mean, it's a terrible it's a no-win question.
But what about a rock concert? You got to go back in time to see one band that no longer is together.
I would go back and see I'd see Hall & Oates just before they broke up for the last time. 2 years ago. They reunited like 15 times. I'd go back and see them one last... No, I'm kidding.
Just to the 2 years.
I love the idea that it's a group that broke up like a year ago, and that's the group I want to see again.
I'm going to go see the Temptations, not the one with the original guy.
No.
The guy with the, like, they're
Those
two.
original guys suck.
Yeah.
I saw them 2 years ago in Atlantic City. I want to go back in time and relive that because I lost my parking validation.
You want to go to the set? You want to go to the set of the music video of the Beach Boys' Kokomo?
Do you have any questions for Conan? Did you do, knowing that he is a raconteur, did you think that you
One of the
didn't
greats,
need any...
maybe.
Yeah. Did you think you didn't need any questions?
I did. I do have some questions, but now that we're in a conversation, like, what am I going to ask him? One of Sean's questions? You know?
Right. That's color. Well, we already covered time machine.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? You guys famously, and it's a brilliant idea, and I'm a big fan of the show. Two of you never know who the guest is, so you're not prepared.
Correct.
One of you does know.
Yeah.
Of the people who are unprepared, who's just the worst at just coming up with something? Come on, Will. Come on.
I'm probably the worst. I'm the worst.
Have you ever been talking to someone and you just didn't even know who they were?
Yes.
Who?
Well, I don't want to say.
That's hilarious.
Grandma doesn't really know a lot.
No,
You know my favorite thing is on the show Project Runway, which my
watch
wife
it every
and kids.
time.
Okay,
I watch it
whenever
all
they
the time.
bring out, they say, "Guess what? We got a special." And they bring out these amazing people. Sometimes I guess I don't know a lot about fashion, but sometimes they clearly couldn't get someone. Okay, that's nice. I walked through an ice storm to get here, and so I'm watching it, and every now and then they'll be like, "Guess who our special judge is this week?" And they'll say, it's Heinrich Liebman. And you can tell that they've told the contestants,
To act.
you have to act like Jesus has come into
Yeah.
the room.
Yeah. And then
They're like, ah! And then
they cut to the interview, right, part.
Yes.
Where they go, I can't believe what's his
it's
name?
Heinrich Liebman.
It's Heinrich Liebman.
But they don't know who the person is, and
Yeah.
I know that would be, for example, and I'm not name dropping, though maybe I might be. The last person I interviewed for my podcast was Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor. Now, thank you.
That's a nice booking.
Yeah. Oh,
Wait, Supreme Court justices don't do interviews?
Exactly.
Wow.
So, anyway, achieving the impossible, I think, is our goal in this industry. So, what I did is I studied, because you got to know your shit when you're talking to a Supreme Court justice. And I was thinking, what if I had just been on this show, and Supreme Court Justice Sotomayor came out and sat down, and then, well, no, you're doing that. Bateman's rubbing himself in the corner, and he's like, would you want a cheese doodle or like a nacho cheese? Do you want the puffy cheese or the...
But see, by the way, do you remember the name of the show is SmartLess?
Yes, yes. Listen, when you
On
guys...
purpose.
True story, these guys were adrift, came to me a couple of years ago.
Oh my God.
And they knew
Oh my God.
that I was, had a huge podcast, and they were like, what do we do? What do we do? And I was like, guys, you're each individually funny. I said, two of you really have the goods. And I said, this, you'll be great together. And they're like, but we don't know. I mean, it was embarrassing. And my daughter was there and said, why are those grown men crying? And I said, I'll handle this. And I said, guys, just relax. You're going to be great. And the format should be, and I remember you guys were like, what's she doing? And I said, just, how about two of you don't know who the guest is and call it, dumb brain or something. And you guys were like, maybe that'll work. And you ran away.
Wow.
And you
There's
got
a
on
lot of crying.
You
going
got on small, little child's bicycles and drove away. And you were banging into each other as you went over the hill, going, maybe it could work, maybe it could work.
Now,
That's a true story of how SmartLess was created.
You guys have heard Conan's podcast before, right? A lot of you. It's a great podcast.
Thank you.
And I've done it a couple times. You ought to get Bateman on there.
No.
Yeah. And
we're good.
And it's you and people who work for you and who are obligated to laugh. So because their jobs depend on it, right? Is that true?
Well, it's not just that their jobs depend on it. If they don't laugh, pain. There's physical pain. I'm not above hitting someone who works for me.
Do you like...
And there I got canceled.
Oh, no.
You were wondering when it would happen.
Do you see how close you are? Always.
Always on the edge.
Well, let me ask you, forget it, because this is the question. It's so boring. Everybody's like, how hard is it to be a comedian right now? It's not that hard. You just fucking, right? It's not hard at all. But there is that thing, you have moments.
Yeah, no, back to Jason's question. It's like, what do you do to edit yourself? Is there stuff you want to say, but you have to edit yourself right away?
Well, here's the thing I will say that's absolutely true. There's a way all of us, I know you guys are planning some, whatever, big surprise meal for me after this is payment. I imagine it's all been set up. And
I hope you like California Pizza Kitchen.
we'll be slamming them back. But no, in all seriousness, there is a way that people who work in comedy, we riff and we talk about and we get going on things. And some of the fun is saying things that are totally outrageous.
Yes.
And it's funny because, I mean, the most moral, ethical people I've met, I've worked in comedy, and they'll go on a long riff about something completely, immoral and unethical, but it's really funny because you know them and you know that they're doing a joke about how wrong that would be if they were to do that.
Just to make you laugh.
Just to make me laugh. And the rooms, I mean, that's why I've always felt like it has to be a safe space. A room where comedy's being invented has to be a safe space where everyone feels comfortable and to be completely politically incorrect. But the problem is then you have to make sure that when you go out in the world, you're not saying
And also like connecting with people who actually hold those views, which are abhorrent to us. That's not the purpose of it. The purpose is to find funny things. And I always think about like there are characters that Joe from Arrested Development. He's a pretty despicable guy.
Yeah.
Thank you. But like. He's a despicable guy, but I understood how completely off the rails he was.
Right.
And I'm not endorsing that kind of behavior. What I'm saying is it's absurdly ridiculous how he is and thinks.
Yes, and I think the fun in all the great classic comedy of all time is someone being completely inappropriate in a situation.
Yeah.
And so,
But it's got to come from the actor playing that character as ignorant as opposed to intolerant. And therein lies your skill with Job. You always looked a little dumb as opposed to, I don't know how much of it was intentional or talent or what, but there was always, see that look right there. Look at that look right there. Yeah.
they did a thing, I didn't even know this, that they spent, I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars in editing, adding a light of intelligence to Will's eyes.
Right.
Like a presence, just a presence that they had to go frame by frame, and that's how video works.
Well, the key is to try to make the
What's the key?
to make the joke on you. So it was always about making the joke, I'm the asshole, I'm the idiot, and it's not mean-spirited.
Right.
And also motive is a huge contributing factor too. What are your motives when you're saying the thing? Is it to injure somebody? Because then that's wrong. If the motive is to be funny and to have a laugh and hopefully not injure somebody, but to make light, then...
And you were always so generous with that on your show and continue to do. Your whole brand of comedy is you're never trying to posture, you're never trying to be the cool kid. There are
I was trying very hard. I was trying.
You were trying.
I was trying so fucking hard to be the cool kid.
So-
This is me being the cool. No,
That's why.
No, I realized very early in my life, like, oh, I'm not cool. I'm not a good athlete. Thank you, audience, for recognizing that immediately. I'm not all these things, but then taking store of what I did have and saying I'm going to be honest about that, which is, I
And
think,
it was clear at the very start. Like, remember when you first came on. Nobody knew, by design, nobody knew who you were. You were a newcomer to camera, but you were obviously with your background and your education, and then working on SNL and all that stuff.
All writers knew who you were.
I remember watching your very first monologue, and I went, "Oh, I get it," because you were so human and so winning and so us.
Yeah.
And I get it. That's why you did it for 20
well, we
years.
almost got, I mean, it was 2 years on the air of constantly being this close to getting canceled.
Yeah, were you worried every day you were going to get a call?
No, seriously, we did after we got through a year, and then they said, we're breaking your contract down, which is completely unheard of in our business, to, I think it was 3 months at a time.
Whoa.
So we'll renew you 3 months at a time. And people don't know that because people just, a lot of people here, and I meet so many people now who said, well, I started watching you, when I was 15 and now I'm 75. And so they have no idea that it's so interesting how people have a different perspective. They look at everyone on this stage and they just think, well, you've always been at this place, and they don't understand, no, we'll take, we've all been, everybody here who might even be interested in doing this or want to try it, and you come here and you see the people that you like on a stage, or some of them, and then, but you see us and you think, oh, they just got to be that, and it's not the case. Like, I think the thing is...
Like it just happened to them, you mean?
Yeah, I think I'm very much constantly in touch, and I think the people that I like in this business, which includes everyone here, I think we're really in touch with the fact that we know what it's like to have people look right through us. We know what it's like to not have any of that status, and I'm still connected to that.
We'll be right back.
And now, back to the show.
You had to go through all that stuff too, especially going through the 3 months at a time, whatever. You had to do it all in front of America.
Yeah.
So you had all that stress every day showing up, and you had people saying, we're not sure if this Conan, like writing stuff, because they write mean shit.
How are you able to stay loose and be funny on the show knowing that your head was on the...
What helps for me is the work. So the magic for me was if we had done... Let's say my show had been kind of a Saturday Night Live type of show where it was once a week. I'm not even kidding about this. I probably would have gone to a mental hospital, and been treated, and the show would have gone away because it was so much.
You would have time to think about it.
You don't have time because
You gotta put a show
I'd
out
do a show. I'd come out, and I'd come to work in the morning, and they'd say, "Did you see this thing in the paper?" And it's like literally like a 3-page spread. 75 reasons why it would be great if Conan just died. I mean, I'm really not exaggerating that much because what we were doing just looked so wrong to people, and I looked weird. And what's this with his name and the hair? And
You also had Richter there holding your hand the whole time.
Wow,
the name's
what
familiar.
a gap. That's another gap we can't take out.
That's that one. That's what I tighten up.
You just mentioned a name that's never mentioned in my house.
I wanted to say, like,
This segment,
like,
this segment is sponsored by Prevagen. Go ahead.
Yeah, no.
sorry.
Can I say one thing though, really quickly? Like we had to do the show that day, and there were terrible things, but you said something that absolutely is true. Talk about a time machine. If I went back into a time machine and had to try and do that show without Andy, I wouldn't have lasted 3 days. Like, I'm serious. I am serious
He's
about
the
that.
funniest. He's one of the funniest guys we all know.
But also, he was right there. He was right there by me, next to me, and there were times when I didn't have it, and he would just say something, and he was. In the early days, he, was just money in the bank. And also, I remembered he's just like this big, warm presence, big guy, and like this he's this like big, warm presence. And so literally, he was comforting. He was comforting to me. Like he's the physically strongest person in comedy.
He is so
He
strong.
is so crazy strong. I mean, physically, like we used to just laugh. I think we went to Yankee Stadium once to play softball, and I think Andy hit a home run with his softball.
Yeah.
And
Oh my God.
everyone was like, shit. And he was like, let's go. I'm tired of this.
And it
I
wasn't-
saw him at your Christmas party with a plate full of he and I both got a plate full of ham. You would have loved it. It was great. But I do want to.
Remember the toast I gave at the party
Oh, it
at
was
the end when I
incredible.
said, this room is filled with everyone that means something to me.
Yeah, you did.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Do I remember it? Are you kidding me? Tom Hanks was crying on my shoulder.
Yeah.
But
It wasn't
I-
originally the plan to have Andy on the show, was it?
Andy was hired as a writer, but I knew right away I want to get him. I think it would be good if you guys did a little research.
Listen, I was going to say that you.
Let's
hey,
get
man,
on a subway, the four of us.
Did you? But talking about those years, Jason, we were talking about it today or the other day. We were talking about you were talking about those moments where you were in your 20s, you had already had your first show, and then you were doing maybe a pilot every couple of years, and going through those years, and everybody sort of thinks, oh no, you're doing like what you were saying. You're fine. You're Jason Bateman. You're doing fine. And you're like, man, I'm just trying to pay the fucking rent.
That is at the risk of being overly sincere. It's like something that's really important to me is that people hear this message, because I remember with great clarity looking at people that have the position that I have now and thinking, well, that's them, but I could never get to do that.
Yeah, sure.
And being as sure of that as I am, like the sun comes up in the east and goes down in the west, which is actually how it works.
Wow.
Look at Sean's face, just bewildered. But yeah, I was just thinking, my friend Dave McLaughlin and his wife Beth are here tonight, and they're good old friends of mine. And I used to
Dave, Beth, why don't you guys stand up?
and I used to I don't know where they are, and they're two of my oldest friends, and I used to sleep on their floor in their house in their apartment in LA. I'd go out for auditions or whatever, and just trying and starving and couldn't pay the rent. And it was the kindness of people like that, and I so appreciate.
I love that. I love talking about this stuff because people don't know.
Are
I
you
think
trying to cut off Dave and Beth?
Sorry. No, because when we first started hanging out decades ago, I would go over to your apartment, and your next door neighbor in the apartment next to you, or like on the same thing, was Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
And it was like.
Yeah, but he was really fat then.
Yeah. I always
Remember
tell
how fat Bradley Cooper was?
I always
He was
Bradley.
one of those people that they had to take a wall out of the house
Yeah, it was a
to
cutout.
get him to the hospital. He was a cutout.
He was a cutout. And Sean's from Illinois. You don't have to explain that to him. But
Canceled!
State by state.
it's a joke. We're going to Chicago. I'll admit to it when we get there. But yeah, Bradley. Remember, Bradley would come over and be like, "I'm never gonna." He'd like.
But I was like the first time I went to the Golden Globes. Thanks.
The first time.
Yeah.
Did you ever win?
No.
No. He just
No,
he scored a ticket.
Good for
I was
you.
like, wow, I had my autograph book and my Sharpie. No,
he went to the line.
But
yeah.
to that point, the first time I went, I swear to God, this is what I thought. The first time I went, we were in the television tier, which is way in the back. Movie people are in the front. And so I looked around, and literally there's Tom Cruise and Meryl Streep and all these people, and I was like, how did this happen? How did I get here? I know so many of my friends that could do my job in Will and Grace or whatever it was that could be in this position. And I looked around and I just go, God, we're all lucky That's
Yes.
just
Yeah.
every single person here is lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one more than you. Do you? But Sean.
No, I mean, you really just fell in it.
You
That's
honestly,
what happened to you.
Lucky magazine poster, front cover, 50 covers in a row.
But I think everybody. But I think, sure, it takes a little bit of talent and hard work, but so many people have that.
That's the other thing too. Is
You know,
I get crazy, and it's not just in show business. I hate it in finance. I hate it. We've all, in a city like this, in Boston, you'll see people that clearly have a ton of money. They've made it in tech. They live out in some fancy suburb, and they're hanging out at the Four Seasons. And they're just, sometimes there's this air they have of, I'm here because I deserve it. And I want to say, I don't know what your story is, but all of us are lucky. We're just lucky.
Right.
And so that's something that gets like...
It's weird when...
It's weird because,
weird.
actually, by the way, finance is the thing that's kind of taken over. There are probably a lot of finance people, and the only person we apologize to is Dan Dees.
Dan Dees the best.
Is the best, but it's created a whole.
No, when
class
someone has got whatever, bet well on crypto or something, and then they're kind of acting to me like, well, some of us know what we're doing, and I think.
No, you
fuck
don't.
you. No, you don't.
But wait, don't you think that to all of what we're talking about, that you can, I'm not going back on my word, but it takes a little bit of luck, but you can manifest a little bit of it by creating goals and writing them down and achieving certain milestones as you go along.
I don't think there's a better analogy in the world than the one-armed bandit. That's the way I always. I don't know if if gambling's a problem for you, but you recoiled when I did that.
From this angle, it wasn't a real jackpot pull you were doing.
When you go to
this guy is unreal.
I'm still on the subway.
You are
sorry.
so on one track. But when you go to Las Vegas and those machines and you pull the lever.
Sure. Oh,
you know what I mean?
Or the knobs.
There's the knobs, but then you're pulling that lever and you got to really pull.
And it breaks
And then
off, and it breaks off.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
But then the coins come shooting out.
Sure.
And then you just feel this sense of satisfaction and relief. But then your anus hurts. Wait a minute.
Wait.
My point is this. We're going to clean this up. Or they won't. They don't spend that kind of money.
Well, let me ask you this.
Wait, I got one thing to say. Was what I wanted to finish with your point was that it is, yes, luck is important. Luck is a crucial thing, and I want to give it up to luck, but persistence, man.
Yes, that's
I think,
what I mean. Yes.
I think actually persistence is, there's just a tiny persistence group here. That's the name of their Bitcoin company.
They all came in one bus.
But my thing is just if you just keep going at it from different angles and keep pulling the lever.
But there's also discipline and there's work ethic and studying hard at school and stuff. I know that you were educated here too. What were the school years like for you here? Were you a good student or were you a little hellcat
right?
out around town?
Yeah.
Huh?
You asked me the time machine question.
Yep.
And I'm not kidding obviously the time machine question is tricky because
It's a classic question.
It's the question
It's
of
the
someone,
best.
it's the question someone has in their back pocket when they don't research. Time machine, Sotomayor.
Pull the card out.
I don't know. I was just telling you my views on Roe v. Wade. Time machine!
Time machine, desert island discs.
The buzzer did go off. Time to talk, Jason.
Yeah. No, I would go back and have people not know where I went to college because I do think early in my career, especially, people had preconceived notions of and so sometimes people would act like, oh, this show you're going to do is going to be some smart, and I'm like, no, I like a masturbating bear. I like,
Sure.
I like the silliest things in the world, and I
Right.
kind of wish that people didn't know where I went to school. I worked really hard to go there. I was a grind, and I worked. Even all those years I was writing comedy in college and performing it, I was still a really hard worker. So.
Well, do you think now? This is on top of what we were talking about. How does it feel? Is it when you come back to Boston specifically? After those years of grinding in high school and going to college here, and now you're in front of this crowd who clearly adores you for some reason. Why is that satisfying? Is that bizarre? Does that register for you? Can you acknowledge that and go like, hey, that's
I'm getting better at it. For a long time, people would write nice things or nice things would happen, and I'd go like, and I would just push it aside.
But you used to go down these same streets. You'd come into town, I imagine, with your folks and do stuff and maybe come to this very theater and see shows and whatever.
I don't think this was here. Was the Wang even here? I think the Wang was built.
Yeah, no, the Wang's been here. The Wang's been here for 300 years. Oh. I think.
When the first settlers arrived, the Wang Theater was here. I remember.
It's the first thing they built.
And they're like, the acoustics are okay.
Yeah.
Be good for a podcast.
But I mean, you walked around this.
No. I'm very much in touch with the fact that I've been extremely fortunate. The thing I think about all the time is that my grandfather, my grandparents on my mother's side grew up in Worcester, Massachusetts, and and my grandfather directed traffic in downtown Worcester. That was his career, and he got paid.
I love that movie.
It's
amazing.
He got paid $55 a week, and whenever anything happens in show business where someone tells me, well, if you just did a year of talk shows, and so this is how much we're gonna. I'm very humbled by shit. This is unbelievable, and I think about my grandfather, who I refuse to acknowledge in his lifetime.
Wow.
By the way,
for no reason at all. I just was very,
Just a quick Harvard little story. Jason was honored with the Hasty
Pudding
Award. Yes.
Yeah.
And he accepted it. He accepted it because he thought they were offering him a tasty pudding at first. Right?
But Jay, why don't you share with everybody about the wonderful article that came out today?
Oh, the article.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful article today in the Daily News. You know, it's sort of like the zenith of journalism. They said that I received this that the Ozarks Ozark star gets the Hasty Pudding Award, and then in the body of the thing, Ozark's Patrick Bateman received the
American Psycho.
Man, how tough is that to just do just the smallest amount of research when you're writing this article?
Can I tell you
just get the first name right?
My favorite thing is I will get a letter. This happened to me. Happens at least once a year. A letter from a pretty well-known organization that's saying, "You're our favorite entertainer. Blah 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 blah. Could you please come and speak at our esteemed institution? It would mean so much, and we followed your career with bated breath, and it's going to be the biggest thing ever."
And I forwarded you that.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like the letter will go on, and it will say, "Dear Conan," and then the last name is terribly misspelled. And I'll think, you don't fucking care about me at all. Like, you didn't even check.
So
it takes a
simple.
second.
This is getting back to our email conversation. It's like, motherfucker, can't you just put a comma in there or something? Like,
or they knew what they were doing and they wanted this reaction from you.
In fairness, when I walked out here and saw you, I was like, Patrick, I was excited to see Patrick Bateman.
Well, I tell you, we've been excited to see you.
Yes.
Hey, that's a great transition for a guy who has to get out.
Yeah, are we doing a commercial?
Well, no, I mean,
No, that's. I have to say, this is. I will repeat my mantra. This is not work. This is, and it's been a long 2 years for all of us, and a lot of us have been missing being together and having an audience. And so, seriously, And when Will said, "Would you want to come out and be on SmartLess in Boston?" and I was just like, "This is like I won a contest." So thank you guys. Seriously,
dude.
No, really, this is nice. This is really nice.
This is. By the way, I echo that. We do too. This is such a thrill for us to do this tour, to come here to Boston, to see you guys, and to do it with such a good buddy who we all love, and you are so hilarious, and you've always been the best. You've always been so kind to all of us over the years.
Well, we're going to work on this.
We're going to work on
this.
And let me broker the Christmas thing.
I'll just park cars at the party.
Okay, that's great.
I just want to be on the grounds.
You want to be on the grounds?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
There's
get
some
some
pretty
ham.
heavy hitters, some big A-listers at these parties, and you might get a little giddy.
By the way, he's not kidding.
Yeah.
No,
It is filled with A-listers.
Well, what are you going to do? Listen.
Oh, God.
I got to go. I'm meeting Tom Brady.
You guys, how great is it being
Thank you.
on Conan O'Brien? Thanks, pal.
Thanks, guys.
I love you, Tom.
This was fun. Hi, everybody.
Get in here. Bye, buddy.
That was great.
Wow.
That was great. You know, I had no idea how short he is.
Yeah, I know.
Those are lifts. It's all lifts.
Those are lifts.
You should come back out here and admit to the lifts.
So what didn't you ask him?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't go
There's
here
800
once.
No,
questions.
I
there.
didn't want to. We were having a conversation.
There's
Did
stuff
you guys?
about SNL, there's stuff about Simpsons.
Yeah, I know.
Late night.
They know all of that.
You have his name misspelled.
Yeah.
You didn't even need him. You're a great interviewer.
Oh! They love you.
That's so sweet.
How about Will, though, huh?
Sean.
Steve? What about Steve? No, but that Conan
Yeah.
is one of my favorite guests we've had on the podcast.
Absolutely, but I wonder, like, because I don't know this, I wonder if he is like is he the longest hosting talk show host? Like, did he have the most years?
I bet you Johnny Carson went longer.
Yeah.
But 28 years.
28 years.
Yeah.
With various shows. I mean,
It has to be. Well, yeah, with all the shows. Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't know about you guys. When I was a young actor in
Here we
New
go.
York, no, it's just going to be a few minutes. It's more of a monologue than anything.
So
No, but I remember, watching Conan on late night and just watching all those sketches and watching had to watch his monologue, had to watch those
Yes,
sketches.
always
I didn't care
killed
who
it.
the guest was. I just wanted to see those sketches. And as a young actor, it was so inspiring.
Yes, but and what I loved about him too, like I started watching when I was in college, and I was like, oh, that guy has the same sense of humor as me. It's like a little wacky, and it's not like I'm doing a stilted monologue now, and I'm going to talk to a guest. It was different. It was so different, and it's still different. And he's
I love
still
that
delivering
character
all.
you just did.
Thanks.
What was that?
Right. This is my.
I'm not gonna do it.
This is my talk show host who doesn't know what he's doing.
Incredible.
Thank you.
You're looking at me, and all I'm doing is trying to think up a buy. I'm trying to think
Oh
up.
yeah.
Maybe something about him being bi-coastal with.
Well, don't do it out loud.
No,
We can't.
I think. Well, if you just repeat the name of the guest that we just had, there's something in there maybe.
Oh, you mean Conan O'Brien? Goodbye. Thank you, Boston. Thank you. SmartLess is 100% organic and artisanally handcrafted by Bennett Barbaco, Michael Grant Terry, and Rob Armjarf.
SmartLess.